Well, I guess it's showtime. How you doing, Mr. DJ? We're soon count down my fancy playlist of September 6th, 1986. Do a lot of roll calling on song titles on in this video, and going into some chart action as well. In this video, Tina Turner, one of her comeback hits. God, she made it. That's the thing about the '80s. You had all these artists, some of these artists that were real popular in the '60s, making a comeback in the '80s. Tina Turner, one of them. And the song at number 26, number 25, up from 34. Tina Turner's Typical Male. Fancy play this September 6th, 1986. Boy, I tell you what, Ike and Tina Turner going back. First Billboard Hot 100 hit came in 1960, A Fall in Love back in 1960, and it's going to work out fine. Came out in 1961 after that, and boy, River Deep, Mountain High, produced by Phil Spector in 1966. Probably one of the most scintillating singles they ever put out, but it bombed here in the States. Song River Deep, Mountain High later covered by the Supremes and Four Tops latter part of 1970, but boy, Ike and Tina Turner, they knocked it out of the ballpark. But only got as high as number 88 here in the States, but it did well in Europe. Big hit in Europe. The Europeans embraced Tina Turner big time. And they came out with a version of Come Together by the Beatles. And some of you might remember back in 1970 when they came out with that version, I'm going to Take You Higher. Or We're Going to Take You Higher, I'm Going to Take You Higher. They covered that Sly and the Family Stone record. Went to number 25 or number 30 on Billboard's Hot 100. Of course, we got 1971 when they came out with Proud Mary. Their version, I got to tell you something. And this is for you music aficionados out there. Just take a moment for you music aficionados out there. Ike and Tina Turner's version of Proud Mary was largely based on Solomon Brooks' version of Proud Mary. Solomon Brooks did the spoken part. Originally, back in 1969, Solomon Brooks' version of Proud Mary. And Ike and Tina Turner's version was largely based on that Solomon Brooks version. Boy, it was killer. Nutbush City Limits in 1973. She's from Nutbush, Tennessee. Tina Turner showing the love for her hometown, for the home team. And they got this amazing comeback in 1984. Well, here's the deal. Late 83, early 84, she came out with Al Green's Let's Stay Together. Oh, it was wonderful. So good to see her again. Remember watching that video, I believe, on Night Tracks. Might have been the spring of '84, and then What's Love Got to Do with It? A song that she hated initially. The song was written by Tony Britten, a British songwriter, Brittenen, along with Graham Lyle. Oh, God. Got to mention something about Graham Lyle in just a minute. Well, these two, the production team, or the songwriting team behind that record, also wrote Typical Male. Graham Lyle. I forgot all about this. I had to refresh my memory on Graham Lyle. You might remember, a long time ago, Graham Lyle was in a band called McGuinness Flint, a British band. They had that huge hit in England called When I'm Dead and Gone, went to number 2. I believe it was number 2, yeah, number 2 in the UK. Only got as high as number 47 here in the States. But here in Tuscaloosa, WTBC played the heck out of that record. Late 70, early 71, just got into that record When I'm Dead and Gone by McGuinness Flint. Gotta give a shout out to Graham Lyle, co-wrote that record When I'm Dead and Gone by McGuinness Flint. Now let's get back to Typical Male by Tina Turner. God, I'm just thinking about her. She did some amazing songs in the 80s. Tina Turner. Better Be Good to Me. She was a rock chick, a rock singer on that record. She could sing rock. Tina Turner was a versatile singer. Better Be Good to Me. That was in the fall of '84. And then there was she did the Thunderdome. We don't need another hero. We don't need another hero. And one of her best records, one of the living boys. She put the soul, the, the, the fireball, just a living fireball. Great torch singer. soul singer, Tina Turner. Wanted to live in back in the fall of '85. That was from the movie Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. She was in that movie with Mel Gibson. Remember Mel Gibson from back in the day? He was a big actor back then. So now let's get back to this record. I was going to get to it sooner or later. Typical Male went to #2 here in the States. Big hit. Kept out of the #1 position 1 week by Janet Jackson's. What was that song by Janet Jackson? It's coming up later on in this fancy countdown, I think. I believe When I Think of You and There Was True Colors by Cyndi Lauper. Kept out of the #1 spot by those two songs. Oh, Phil Collins plays drums on this record. Typical Male. Tina Turner. But the Europeans, they embraced this record. Didn't do well in England. Went to #33 in England, but top 10. Typical Male went top 10. New Zealand, Netherlands, Switzerland, Norway, Finland, Sweden. Boy, the Europeans, they're getting into that soul, getting into Tina Turner, flamboyant performer. Well, Typical Male from her sixth solo album, Break Every Rule, that was the follow-up to, God, her stunning success with Private Dancer. Still love that Private Dancer song. Boy, that was awesome. Tina Turner, back in the day. Tina Turner with Typical Male at #25 on my fantasy playlist September 6, 1986.